Welcome into your Chiefs pregame show, everybody. This is Kingdom Kickoff as we get you ready. We get you right for the Chiefs-Titans Sunday night. I am Noah Gronniger, as always, being joined by Rich Baldinger, our good friend, our buddy, former Kansas City Chiefs offensive lineman. Rich, welcome. We've got a huge game tonight. We also got our friend Clint's out gallivanting across the United States. As usual, I feel like I say it every week, but we got our buddy sitting in, Brian B. Shynin from Hot 103 Jams. Gentlemen, Sunday night is upon us.
Pleasure to be here. I'm fired up. No place I'd rather be than with you guys. Rich, I can't wait for the ball game tonight, man. Malik Willis is starting. Arrowhead is going to be lunching for Sunday Night Football.
Well, we still got the old Henry Express coming, and I can feel the thundering on the railroad tracks. But I'm going to tell you what, folks. Today I left from Pink Floyd. Last week I was Led Zeppelin and the Bonzo banging the drums to bring energy. But tonight it's the Grateful Dead. I'm going to steal your face as I head to the Promised Land. So, Mr. Henry, I want you to know those tracks are going to disappear. And we're going to fall off in the swamp somewhere because tonight, that rookie, that back end of our defense where it seemed like just a few years ago, all these kids were in high school, and then now they're down there one arrow drive. They're going to come up big tonight. They're going to show us why. They're going to be the best in the National Football League.
Yeah, we got a comment here saying they're doing the Hall of Fame in Chiefs Kingdom tonight. That's our good friend from our show last season. We did 4-minute offense with Donnell Bennett, Kimball Anders. Kimball Anders is going in to the Ring of Fame, the Chiefs Hall of Fame. We are so excited for him. And Rich, you're going into this music thing. You've been doing it for weeks now. We traded for, during the bye week, Kadarius Toney, wide receiver from the New York Giants. And so Sky Moore, your punt return duties. I don't know if you're familiar with NSYNC here, Rich, but we got Bye-Bye Sky. He's saying bye-bye-bye to that punt return duty. And if you're not familiar with NSYNC, maybe this is a little more up your alley. Hello, Goodbye from the Beatles. Hello, Kadarius. Goodbye, Sky. Welcome in, Kadarius Toney. Rich, what do you think we're going to see out of him tonight?
Well, I think they're going to give him some opportunities. This is a guy who's got speed. He's got top-end speed. And this is, I'm really surprised the Giants didn't try to work with him. Brian Daboll and Mike Kafka over there from Kansas City, he knew about Tyreek, right? Wouldn't he, so whatever it was, there wasn't a fit, and it's a first-round pick, so you got to think this is a real personality thing. But, hey, Andy's got a guy now that you can put in position coming out of the bunch that's going to be able to get downfield vertically. And I think tonight they'll get him in there. They get him in the return game, but you're going to see somebody with that physical ability that can make somebody miss and get you positive yards.
Yeah, man. Brian, what do you think about this game tonight? And Kadarius Toney, what is his impact?
Yeah, definitely special teams will be better. Sorry for Sky Moore, man. He's a young guy, rookie. But I don't know who to blame. I just know that I wouldn't put a rookie in that position to where he's not familiar, which was, returning kicks, what have you. It is what it is. I think Kadarius Toney is an immediate upgrade over Sky Moore in that kick return game. And it could bring back an element in which the Chiefs had not had, I want to say, since the Super Bowl run, if they even had it then. I can't remember quite clear, but I know the return game was on and popping in 2018. Regardless, Kadarius Toney adds an element of speed and quickness that the team did not have before him. You had McCole, but is McCole all that dependable? I think Kadarius Toney will be a little bit more dependable than McCole, and especially in the receiving role that he'll play a little bit later on. Not sure how much run he'll get tonight in the receiving role. Maybe he'll get a couple jet sweeps. Maybe he'll get a screen or two. I don't see too many targets offensively for him. But going forward, though, I think that this takes the Chiefs offense up another notch. I really do, gentlemen. I think this is dangerous.
I think it gives him that speed over the top. Can you take the top off the defense? Can you get him slowly involved where now the safeties first step is always towards him? Do they relax a little bit? Does it open up your running game? Because now you can't quite get 8 in the box, or linebackers don't quite drop out in that cover too. So I just think with somebody with this type of athletic ability, and is there anybody better in the National Football League than Andy Reid in finding people like this and getting them in position, shifts, motions, and creating those one-on-ones. So look for a bright future for the young man. And again, that return, that is something you have to keep a focus on And not everybody can do that, because when you hear the hoofs pounding on the ground coming at you, it's hard not to look to see which way you're going to get. So for Sky Moore, young guy, maybe this gives him a chance to step back, work on things they focus and understanding. But for Kadarius Toney, I think this guy just brings us a new element on there in the offense, a top end that every team looks to have.
Hey, Rich, would you say that like returning punts probably top 3 most dangerous jobs in the NFL?
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. And then you've got to be able to keep your focus. It's like going into a boxing match and your hands are tied behind your back and you got to be able to move. And that's basically what it is, because you've got to keep your eyes. And I know with Sky Moore, that was difficult. He couldn't do it. So yes, I put it up there. And then again, you got to be a great athlete. So from that standpoint, I wasn't a great athlete, so I never had to worry about that, guys, returning punts. So it's something you need, because you know what, to win in this Super Bowl, to find it, get there to the championship and be that, you've got to get those points. You know, sooner or later in a game here or there in special teams, you need those quick points. You need that big play to turn the tide of the game. It seems like it always happens somewhere along the line, 1 or 2 games, special teams is the difference for you.
Yeah, we mentioned how Malik Willis is playing. Ryan Tannehill came out in warmups, was throwing the ball around, but he's inactive. Nothing really jumps off on the Chiefs inactives other than Jody Fortson, but that was expected. He's been dealing with an injury all week long, hasn't practiced, so he's a scratch. But we got a question here from our good buddy, our gallivanter, Clint Schweitzer, across the United States.
What's up, Clint?
Chiefs favorites over the current AFC 1 seed after the Bills loss. Are the Titans frauds, Rich? I mean, they haven't beaten. We saw what they did against the Texans last week, a 17-10 victory. They beat Washington. They beat the Colts twice. What do we think of this Titans team coming in here, especially with Malik Willis now?
Listen, Malik Willis, what can you expect? It's going to be a limited playbook. Just hasn't had that many reps, that many opportunities. So you know you're not going to put the ball in his hands. You're not going to put him in position where maybe just because of lack of experience. So the offensive side of the ball, we know the O-line over there at left tackle. They've had some issues with injuries there too. So, you know, defensively, I think they're having some issues defense. But this on defense side of the ball, they're not bad. They're one of the best run defense teams in the league. So it's going to be a challenge for us there. So, hey, listen, guys, it's the National Football League. And in a game like this, you don't come out prepared and take care of business, things can go wonky on you real quick. So, but listen, Patrick Mahomes, we know what he's all about. We know what Andy Reid's all about coming from the bye. I look for these guys taking care of business, because I think the one thing they've learned in this first half is you kind of found a couple good games and a bad game, couple good games. They've got to get out of that habit. They've got to learn how every week to put it out in the field at a level like they did against San Francisco, because to go to that Super Bowl again, up and down, is just not going to get you there.
Yeah, and Brian, Rich right there talked about the defense, the defensive line. They're playing well. They've got some guys over there. Earlier this week, Jeffrey Simmons went on Sirius XM NFL radio, running his mouth about dominating the Chiefs, same offensive line that they saw last year in the 27-3 Titans victory. Shocking victory for the Titans by winning by 24. I want to go to the audio and then get your thoughts directly on the other side.
I'm very confident that we could go out there and dominate them.
H2O style.
Like I said, they know us, we know them.
They got the rights resolved. I think with
I'm looking forward to the matchups up front, whoever it may be, or Thuney or Trey Smith at the guard position. But I'm
some issues with our audio there. I'm not sure what was going on, but Jeffrey Simmons said he's confident that they will be able to dominate this offensive line, whether he's lined up over Joe Thuney, whether he's lined up over Trey Smith. They're going to have a dominant performance to come in here, and he lives for these kind of games where they're the underdog. I think 12.5-point underdogs are the Titans.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with these, with these defenses calling out our offensive line, frankly. It's not like the Chiefs' offensive line has vastly underperformed this year. Have they been their best? No, they haven't. Some games they've shined, but I don't understand. Shaq Barrett came out and did this the last Sunday Night Football game we had against the Buccaneers, and you saw what happened, 40 burgers all over the place. And Jeffrey Simmons, much respect to him. He's a great ball player, probably a number 3 in defensive tackles as far as I'm concerned, with Aaron Donald being 1, Chris Jones being 2. I like to put him in that class as well. But with all that being said, you don't do that. You don't do that to the Chiefs in prime time. You don't do that to the Chiefs in Sunday Night Football at Arrowhead. And you don't do that to the Chiefs team that has the best quarterback in the game, the best player in the game, quite frankly. Petty Patrick Mahomes. And that's when Patrick is at his best. When he has something to play for, when there's a little extra Lowry's seasoning salt on the meat, huh? Yeah, he's gonna come out and ball out. And please believe, let's not be dumb here. Or not dumb. Let's not be naive. This audio quote has been floating around in the locker room. Matter of fact, it's probably playing on the loudspeaker in the locker room right now as we talk. So these players know about this, and these are men, and I'm sure they feel disrespected, because I know I would, and I would want to go out there and dominate. Jeffrey Simmons, he's playing. Is he playing or not? He's playing. Okay.
Yeah, I thought he was out with injury. Is he active tonight, Noah?
Yeah, he's on the active list, so he's going to be out there. Yep.
Yeah. So, but and I put my coach's headset on, Noah and Rich, and I think about Steve Spagnuolo, and I'm licking my chops, like I'm salivating, like I could not sleep last night thinking about Malik Willis starting at Arrowhead Stadium, GEHA Field, primetime Sunday Night Football, where everybody is watching on the globe. Are you serious right now? I'm coming after him. I'm playing zone one play, then man the next play, then I'm blitzing the next play, then I'm backing up everybody the next play. I'm confusing this young guy. Why? Because we're going to be loud. Arrowhead is going to be loud, and he's not going to be able to audible out of things. Rich, you mentioned earlier about having a limited playbook. Well, how about not having reps with the first team? Yeah. How about them not knowing each other's signals or knowing on quick routes where to go? Because we're going to be loud and we're going to be raucous. This is going to be something that Malik Willis hasn't seen before. He's a great athlete. I picked him to be my offensive rookie of the year. That campaign is not going so well thus far, and it won't go well tonight either.
And as I mentioned before, Taylor Lewan's out this year, out of the game. I think he's gone for the year on IR. Not sure if he's going to be back. So, listen, you talk about Houston, some of the teams they've had to play quite not at the level. So you were able to get away with this. But you're going into Arrowhead Drive. I played in that stadium. I know what it means to get a headache in that place, because them crowds are going to be rocking and rolling. So look for craziness up front. Look for 9 men in the box. Derrick Henry will not even get to the line of scrimmage before they hit him tonight. They're going to run blitz him from every angle going. You're going to put third and long situations, and what are you going to be left to do? You got to throw a screen pass. They're not going to let this quarterback sit back in the pocket. They're not going to let him get beat up, because you know what? There's no other quarterback right now in the squad. I don't think so. I think the Chiefs take care of business on this tonight. They know they need to come out. As for Jeffrey Simmons, buddy, your head's going to be spinning. You're going to see so many shifts, so many motions. You're going to have no idea where you're at, where you need to line up. There is nobody better than Andy Reid on this. So I look for a big night on this one, because especially after the San Francisco game, what I liked about the whole package was the balance we saw in this. The way we came out and attacked with jet sweeps, the short route, got the running game involved, the screens. It was all interconnected, all working well. We knew we had to touch every part of our offense and be effective, and look what it did on the field. So, yeah, they're going to look at that and say, hey, San Francisco came out and tried to run the ball, but they stopped. They ran into trouble. So they don't run the ball tonight, the Titans. They might be going home at halftime. Might be safer for them.
Yeah, on the defensive side of the ball, remember L'Jarius Sneed against the Colts and Bucks coming off with the sack strip fumble. I see something very similar happening with Malik, not knowing who's coming, who's not coming, and getting surprised by L'Jarius Sneed coming back there. But, Brian, I want to go to you. Last week, these Titans played the Texans. Malik Willis didn't have to do much. They handed the ball over 30 times to Derrick Henry for over 200 yards. Do you think that's in the game plan? Can they win a game against the Chiefs doing that?
I pray it's in the game plan. How dare you disrespect us and be one-dimensional? You do that, I'm putting 8 in the box all day, every day, and I'm manning up your receivers, and I dare you to throw to them, because we're going to get to you by the time you try to release the ball. But with that being said, they knew what they were trying to do against the Texans. They knew the Texans were the walking wounded. There was a lot of issues going on. There were trade scenarios and what have you going on with the Texans, and they play with the Texans. They play with them like they're little toys. They knew going into that game they were going to win. Regardless of that, they're 5-2. They have a lot on the line. First place in the division. You want to show the world that, hey, we got smacked up and clacked up by Buffalo a month and a half ago, that, hey, we're still competitors in the AFC. They're going to give it their best effort. And I highly doubt that them being one-dimensional and having Derrick Henry. And speaking of Derrick Henry, I'm a big Derrick Henry fan. Love him. I think he's the modern-day Jim Brown, Bo Jackson. I think he is absolutely tremendous. Probably when it's all said and done, a top 4 or 5 running back. I want to say I put him up there. He's unstoppable. But we as Chiefs fans remember in 2007, after Larry Johnson got over 400 touches and how that took a toll on his body. He's human. I know he's still young somewhat. He's not old. And running back years, he has a little tread on. He doesn't have much tread on the tires left. So with that being said, I wouldn't be in the business of giving this guy 30 carries per game every single game. So I definitely don't think that's in the game plan, especially against a more versatile Chiefs defense and a smarter coaching staff, to be honest with you.
I think Alabama's making phone calls, see if he can come back for another year.
They could have used him in a couple of these games.
Yeah, good. Use him there. I think so. Listen, when you have a quarterback who just doesn't have experience, you have to simplify everything. You just, Brian, you make a good point. It's just simple things, making the snap count, calling the plays in the huddle and communicating everything at a level so everybody hears it in time, getting up to the line of scrimmage and making your adjustments there. So you would think that not having all the practice time and all that, they have to just close it down, because believe me, sometimes the hardest thing to do is just get the ball snapped, get people lined up and get the ball snapped and get going and everything. So I just don't see, I can't see how the Titans can really think that they're going to bring in a lot of different ideas against the Chiefs defense, even though our secondary pass defense right now, what are we, number 25 or 26 in the league, they opportunities. But I just can't see him doing that with the noise at Arrowhead, the issues you're having up front, and just a young quarterback not having a lot of experience. Are you really going to turn over the ball? One turnover in this game, and it's over with for you. It's done. So I think they play conservative. They have to. Listen, but I give them credit. Their defense has been one that's kept them in all the games so far. So it's going to be a challenge for us. But again, for the Chiefs, it's all about balance. We've got to get people involved, get each part of that offense going to be effective, because we don't have that first strike capability that we had with Tyreek. So you got to make sure balance. Andy does that well. We'll come away with victory tonight.
Hey, Rich, you mentioned simplifying the game plan, and that goes into the Chiefs' favor, because you see that stuff on film. Okay, you'll get away with it once, maybe twice, that you'll line up in a certain formation or your splits are like this or whatever. But with these Microsoft tabs that they have, you could get film on that immediately. So simplifying the game plan, yeah, it could work a couple times. Not sure if that's sustainable throughout the game, which I think definitely favors Spags and the defense.
Oh, without a doubt. And listen, if they're not winning on first down, the Titans, you're waving the white flag on second down already. So, if they don't get 4 or more yards in the first play, it's going to be a nightmare. They're not going to be able to stand in the pocket. The blitzes are going to come from everywhere. Snead coming from any direction, the way he covers ground, avoids traffic, able to provide pressure. I look for a big evening for him tonight. So I think, again, the Chiefs going to take care of business. I like to see what Kadarius Toney can do for this team. I want to see what he can involve with, how he becomes in this. I want to see that athletic skill that I saw Florida with this guy. And, the Chiefs always wanted him. They said from the beginning they wanted to draft this guy, but didn't work out. So maybe tonight they finally found another guy, another part of this offense that's just going to make him that much more special.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that, especially moving on into next season, because it looks like McCole Hardman could move on after this year. His contract's up. So if Kadarius Toney can take that role, expand on it as a wide receiver, running routes more crisply than McCole Hardman does, I'm excited for that moving forward. But on the Titan side, I think they are going to have to be one-dimensional, but in a multitude of ways. They're going to have to run the ball with Derrick Henry, jet sweeps, screens, Malik Willis in the run game, and then they're going to have to do some well-timed play-action passes. That's how they're going to try and stay in this game, eat the clock. I don't think it's going to work, but that is the game plan that they're going to have to try to implement here. And, Brian, I want to go to you, because this whole time you've been telling me, it doesn't matter, we don't have Tyreek, we got Patrick Mahomes, we got Andy Reid, they're scheming things up, we're fine. And early on, almost halfway through the season, looks like you're right. But there's some other guys around the league. You look at Aaron Rodgers without Devontae Adams, lost as can be, and the Titans without A.J. Brown. That's why they have to be this one-dimensional and can't get things going, even when Ryan Tannehill's healthy. So talk about some of these quarterbacks, especially Mahomes, and then the Titans, whether it's Tannehill or Malik Willis, without their top wide receivers, Tyreek Hill and A.J. Brown.
Brian, before you start, let me ask you one question. What do you think is Tannehill's future when the Titans do nothing in the trade? No wide receivers, no nothing. AJ, are they telling you about where Ryan Tannehill is going to be next year with this team? Your opinion on that.
Future Washington Commanders quarterback Ryan Tannehill. You talking about him? I don't think they keep him around. I think his price tag is still a little up there. As well as you probably want to move towards the future and developing Malik Willis. You want to get him as much, and who knows what he does, after tonight, to maybe solidify his position in that starting lineup. So I mean, if I'm Vrabel, I'm going with the young guy. I mean, what do you have to do with Tannehill? Like he's an older guy. What are you going to develop with him? You got younger receivers now. You really should probably want the younger receivers to develop with the young quarterback. That's just me though. But answering Noah's question, I think the difference is one is the depth of wide receiver, the wide receiver depth that the Chiefs have, and how the Chiefs rebuilt their receiver staff in the offseason. The Titans got Robert Woods. He's okay, but he's not AJ Brown. You see, AJ Brown is being used, to me, in my opinion, way better in Philadelphia than he was being used in Tennessee. And it was quoted with Mike Vrabel. He hated that. He did not want that trade to happen at all. The depth of wide receivers that the Titans have is not to where the Chiefs have. And it's the same with Green Bay too. Aaron Rodgers, his commitment to the game, number one, him not in the offseason, not working out with his receivers, him going on these tangents on the Pat McAfee show, which is hilarious, but still his lack of commitment to trying to develop with the other guys. Alan Lazard is your number one receiver. That's never a good sign. Sammy Watkins, we already know what his deal is, being Chiefs fans. He's going to be hurt half the year. And today, you saw a prime example against the Lions. There were so many miscues between Rodgers and the receivers, and he's frustrated at them that they're not, doing what he wants them to do. But that comes with you. That comes with leadership in the offseason and taking these guys. And who did that? Patrick did that, took all of his guys at Dallas, and now you see the fruits of the labor coming on, and you see what's happening in Green Bay with an older Aaron Rodgers as well. It's not like all the blame shouldn't be on the receivers. A little bit of that blame is on the quarterbacks too.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers' answer to that is flinging his chin strap off and walking away from the team in the huddle and just going back to the sideline. So leadership definitely isn't there for Rodgers.
Well, and it's so important in the offseason because it's all about timing and it's all about adjustments. In the days 40, 50 years ago, you ran one route, whether it was zone, man, whatever. The route stayed the same. That's all it was. You tore it up in the dirt and you run an out, you run a curl, and that's it. Nowadays, you might have 17 different routes depending on shades, what coverage, what man, what personnel. It's amazing. So that's why this offseason work between quarterback and wide receiver, all right, now it's in this. So you're adjusting here. This is where I need you to be. This is where you need to be. And it's constantly. And for a lot of guys, it's a rude awakening, the NFL, because the playbook is so big and it constantly changes. So that's why this offseason, working with young receivers, with the quarterback, so important in the OTAs. I don't know how important it is for linemen because it's a game of contact for linemen, but for wide receivers and quarterbacks, you need every day you can get just because the depth now of the playbooks and what you can do in passing the football.
And a couple other things I want to add on now that we're talking and my brain is moving. There's two other factors that go into this. The GM for the Packers, Gutekunst, not being aggressive and going after OBJ in the offseason or OBJ now or other receivers. There were reports today that they tried to go after Moore from Carolina.
Chase Claypool,
they tried to, there were these reports that come out now that say they're doing that, but that goes to the front office too. They deserve blame, and it's the greatness of Andy Reid on display. The fact that these other offensive coordinators and coaches, they can't keep their team up to speed like Andy. Like, we're going through a rebuild. This is a rebuilding year for the Chiefs, technically. to be honest with you.
Everybody else went out and spent big bucks, and we kind of stayed pat a little bit. So
so it goes to the brilliance of Andy Reid and his ability to coach a number of different players and fit them in schemes and to adjust his scheme a little bit as well. That's a sign of great coaching to me. And it goes in the front office too for both teams, of the Titans making a very dumb trade, in my opinion, and not giving AJ Brown the money that he deserved, and with the Packers not being more aggressive in free agency and expecting Aaron Rodgers to try to build some chemistry with all these young receivers.
And you think about even the Chiefs on the other side of the ball, you got 3 rooks in the secondary. I mean, that's amazing. You're still 5-2. I mean, I know the numbers, the stats don't look pretty, but the only stat that matters is wins and losses, and somehow you can get it done. So, Brian, great point on rebuilding, but you're rebuilding both sides. Your wide receiver, and remember what you're doing at wide receiver. You're walking away from a guy that's going to go down, is one of the top 3 to ever play in the National Football.
He's on fire.
Ever play. And we had him and we let him go. And now you're rebuilding. And then on the defensive side of the ball, you're doing this. So where the Chiefs are standing at 5-2 at this point with 3 rooks and say, listen, I was a rookie. And, when you only got 2 brain cells, you're not too smart. So I know what it's like. So it's tough. And the Chiefs are able to come through. So that's why, give credit to Andy Reid for what he's gone through personally and to be able to get this team. It's quite amazing. He's an amazing individual.
Yeah, I'll never get over getting rid of and trading Tyreek Hill. No matter what happens from here on out, I'll just never get over it. That's another topic for another day.
Let's expand. He hit 1,000 yards today. It is week 9. We're a week after. We're not even a week after Halloween. So Noah, I give you a lot of crap for trying to hang on to the Tyreek Hill thing, but he is amazing. He is to do this with Tua, and Tua wasn't looking too good today in those 18-mile-an-hour gust winds in Chicago. It's only going to get worse for the Dolphins as it gets chillier. But that's another subject for another day. Tyreek, he is amazing, and he's showing it with the to me a substandard quarterback.
Well, and quickly, just a guy who played defense when I was with the Chiefs, a guy by the name of Albert Lewis, I thought was the most incredible athlete. I mean, the offseason program, what he could do physically, whether it be playing basketball, karate, whatever, the man was amazing. But then I see Tyreek and I go, there's actually somebody better physically. That's scary. That's really scary. I can't wait till the receiver comes out that's better than Tyreek. You might have to be in an F-14 to catch up with him.
Did you ever see Darryl Green? Did you ever play against?
I remember Darryl Green, yes, from Washington. Legendary.
Like him or Tyreek more athletic.
Well, the thing about Tyreek is I've never seen a receiver like that in physical, just always physical with going to catch the football. No matter in traffic or what, you never saw this guy drop. I mean, there were some drops, but you never saw him physically take a shot on the ground. When his hands hit the ball, he caught the football. And that, to me, a lot of times these guys are special athletes. They don't really have that same, innate toughness when it gets into traffic and gets commotion. Tyreek would fight anybody, anywhere for that ball, and that's simply amazing to me.
The instant acceleration and the angle killer, I've never seen anything like it before. People think, I've got this. I'm in front of him. Surely no, you don't actually.
No,
it was insane. I've never seen anything like it.
That's like trying to cover Michael Jordan. He's the closest thing I've seen to what Michael Jordan could do on a basketball court in terms of foot quickness, change the direction. Michael used to do some things when you would go watch him live. You're like, how did he do that? Well, wait a second. Can we get instant replay on that? Because it was so quick. It's so amazing. So Tyreek is that guy. Strong, quick, everything you could imagine in a wide receiver.
Before I cry on live video here, missing Tyreek Hill, and before we get to our predictions, let's go to our keys to victory here from Rich Baldinger. Chiefs and Titans. Give it to us, Rich.
I love that Metro Sports pick.
Yes.
I love it.
Let's just begin with the Chiefs have the ball. Listen, I'm going to say it week in and week out. It's a balanced attack. That's what's making this thing going. We know we need some running game. We know we need some screen game, short passing, RPOs. It eventually leads to that ball going down the field. So you have the balanced attack. You give Patrick some chances to set his feet. It's all over for any defense. You're not going to have an opportunity to catch up. The machine moves on. That's why we're the number 1 in the league in scoring points. And on the defensive side, you know what it's all about. Struggled last week in San Francisco in the first couple of drives, and stopping the run. Well, tonight you got the best of the best. I remember Earl Campbell walking on the field and seeing a man that could run harder than an 18-wheeler. Well, Derrick Henry is that guy that's bigger than that and stronger than that. So that's your challenge tonight. You know they're going to come at you. They're going to challenge our integrity. They feel that we don't have the toughness up front. Let's get it done. We do. This game becomes one-dimensional. I'm eating popcorn by the second quarter.
Let's get you that popcorn, Rich. But let's go to our predictions, see if we can get you that popcorn. Who thinks you're going to have it and who doesn't? Brian, we'll start with you.
You know, earlier in the week, I picked this game very, very close. I said 23-20 Chiefs will win a squeaker as Harrison Butker kicks a game-winning field goal. I'm going to have to adjust that, fellas. At the time, I thought Tannehill was going to gut it out and play. And I did not know that the Jets were going to beat the Bills. So I predicted that, though, today. I didn't predict that the other day. With all that being said, Arrowhead is raucous. They've been drunk since 6 a.m. We know how we are in Kansas City. I'm going to go 30-16. Chiefs get the dub.
Love it. Rich, what do you got?
Oh, no question about it. I look for the Kansas City Chiefs. They will take care of business. And I think what they established in that game against San Francisco going into the bye week, how important it was. I think they demonstrated to the town and to the league that this team knows what it means to play at a level. And I think they've learned that. And I think coming out of this bye week, it continues. I look for this thing not to even be close. I'm looking at 34-10. I look at the Titans just getting maybe, a backyard touchdown in the middle of the fourth quarter or something. This is not going to be close. Chiefs take care of business. And again, sorry, your starting quarterback's out. Just don't have a chance at Arrowhead Stadium.
Andy Reid, 20-3 after a bye week.
21-3, because I've got this one a party. 41-20, Chiefs all over it.
Lord, 40 birds.
Henry gets going early. Maybe they even get up 7-0. But then the Chiefs, they just get rolling. They're up 14, 17 points, and they've got to abandon that running game, put it on Malik Willis's shoulders, and he's not going to be ready for it at Arrowhead. L'Jarius Sneed sneaking off the corner, hitting him, causing a sack strip fumble, and it's just a party at Arrowhead. If you're going out there, enjoy it, because it is going to be a raucous, fun victory night inside Arrowhead Stadium, my friends.
Hey, do the Chiefs take, if the Chiefs win the toss, do they receive or kick?
I think they kick, because they always do. It is different. You don't really want to get Henry going, them up 7-0. The run game gets more involved, but I feel like they just always defer no matter what.
Yeah.
And I think the Chiefs know one thing. They still got the Chargers waiting out there in this schedule.
Yeah.
And them Chargers are finding a way to win games, man. They know this is not going to be an easy schedule. They understand. And that's why that San Francisco game, what they did in that game after a kind of a slow start in the first half of the quarter, what they demonstrated on the road, what they did to suppose one of the top teams in the NFC, just smackdown, I think tells a lot about the integrity of this team and what they're all about. And they promise us that week in, week out, that will be the level that they're going to play at.
Just when you want to say the schedule's getting easier, the Jets beat you, right, Buffalo? Well, thank you guys for watching here. This has been Kingdom Kickoff, your Chiefs pregame show. Game's coming up here in about 20 minutes, so settle in. Rich, go get your popcorn. Maybe you even have some time to decorate the wall behind you. We need some decorations in that room. Something. You're in that Turkish prison.
Baby. Still your face. Grateful Dead right there. That's all that matters. That's what I bring, man. The music and the intensity. That's what matters.
Yes, Rich, go to Topsy's, get you a large buttered with a large cherry limeade.
Ryan, you sound like you've got
over
the
here eating
experience
W's.
and the knowledge of that.
Oh yeah. My wife loves Topsy's.
Well, thank you all for watching. We appreciate it.
Prime time.
Absolutely. We will see you guys next week when we take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, a huge congratulations to Kimball Anders going into the Hall of Fame. We'll see you next time. This has been Kingdom Kickoff. Till next time.
All right.